Namaste. Welcome to session 3 of Vidur Neeti. As you're aware, we started this sometime. We have finished 2 sessions now. The third session, as usual, we start with our Jnana Slokams. Gajananam Bodhaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambu Valasara Pakshitam Umasutam Soka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Taspai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam, Sankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmat Acharya Paryantam, Bande Guru Paramparam, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum. Now, this is the third session we are going to have today, and at the very outset, I'd like to tell you how I started this Vidur Neeti. It wasn't really my idea. The idea and suggestion came from my friend in Pune, and his name is Mihir Thakkar. He has started an organization called Siksha Valli, and he got in touch with me after viewing some of my videos, and he said, why not you start on Vidur Neeti? And he sparked off the interest. So at the outset, I want to thank Mihir Thakkar of Siksha Valli, Pune. We share some common interests, some objectives in propagating important parts of Sanatana Dharma. And I'm very happy that Mihir Thakkar joins me in this. So thank you, Dhanyavad Mihir Thakkarji, for giving me this suggestion. And I hope we do more sessions on other subjects too. So going further, I want to give you a quick review of last session 2, in which we talked about Vidura's advice on who is a Pandit and what are his qualities. Pandit kaun hai aur Pandit ka gun kya hai? And in contrast, he also told us who is a fool, kaun morkha hai. So this is where he starts the conversation with Dhritarashtra. Now, in this session, before I start the shlokas, I want to give you a bit of introduction on the focus of Vidur Neeti. As many of you know, there are 4 ashramas in Sanatana Dharma, or what is called Hinduism now. The 4 ashramatas: Brahmacharya, which is a student life; Grahastha ashrama, which is a householder; Vanaprastha, which means retired; and Sannyasa, which is renouncing everything, you go into a different ashram altogether. So the ashrama system, the 4 stages in life, is something unique, a special feature in Sanatana Dharma. You don't find it in other religions. And the learning focus in each of these differs. The objective is also different. While the Vedas preach knowledge and they advise on rituals, mostly to achieve what a person desires. You know, when you do Mamopartha resolution, Mamopartha Samasta Dudachaitvara, we say, Ishta Kamyartha Siddhyartham. So whatever you desire, you want that to be fulfilled through a ritual or through a stuti or whatever. That is the prescription of Vedas. But the end of the Vedas are different. It's called Vedantam, which preaches philosophy, which include Upanishads. The Upanishads teach philosophy and realization of oneself, Jivatma and Paramatma, the relationships. And it is more difficult to follow. So it's intended really for mature people, mostly seniors who have spent years of experience making a living. Of course, exceptions are always there. You have some people like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sankaracharya, Tulsidas, Ramana Maharshi, and so on. But the focus in Vidur Neeti is on Grahasthashram, the home and the householder. So the topics covered are typically those which actually pose a challenge for someone to lead a life. They are meant for Grahasthas. So it includes a practical advice. It includes many secrets, how to address challenges we all face every day. Like, for example, how to control anger, how to persevere and pursue and prosper, how to be healthy and happy, how to conduct oneself and be popular, how to speak well, how to succeed, and how to face failure, how to deal with friends and enemies, how to develop good relations in society, how to deal with money. In short, it is a treatise on how to effectively manage oneself. If Vidur had been alive today, he would have probably minted millions of dollars selling his skills and his advice to the generation now. So one of the dreams of Grahasthas is to have a good income, a good life, a house, a car, and in other words, the questions in many minds is how to become prosperous, how to become happy. That is the main thing which is addressed in Vidur Neeti. I will say a few words in Hindi. सनातन धर्म के 4 आश्रम है, ब्रह्मचर्य, गृहस्थाश्रम, वानप्रस्थ और संन्यास. क्या हमारे धर्म में एक विशेषता है. प्रत्येक आश्रम में सीखने का उद्देश्य अलग अलग होता है. गृहस्थाश्रम में गृहस्थ की जिम्मेदारी है कि वह एक परिवार की कमाई करे और उसका समर्थन करे. वेद संस्कार और अपनी इच्छाओं को पूरे करने के लिए वैदिक अनुष्ठान सिखाते हैं. जैसे हम कहते हैं इष्टकाम्यार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थम. उपनिषदों वेदों का अंतिम भाग होता है, इसीलिए उपनिषद को वेदांत कहता है. वेदांत आत्मा और परमात्मा के विषय में ज्ञान है. उपनिषद परिपक्व लोगों के लिए है, जो एक्सपीरियंस हुए हैं. सामान्य लोगों के लिए उपनिषद को समझना जरा मुश्किल है. अपवाद है, जैसे रामकृष्ण जी, परमहंस, शंकराचार्य, तुलसीदास जैसे. लेकिन विदुर नीति गृहस्थों के लिए एक व्यावहारिक सलाह है. धृतराष्ट्र स्वयं ये गृहस्थ थे, वह भी बहुत बड़े. विदुर नीति में हमें जीवन जीने के लिए कई रहस्य बताते हैं. जैसे क्रोध को कैसे नियंत्रित किया जाए, कैसे समुद्र किया जाए, कैसे खुश रहें, कैसे अच्छा बोलें, कैसे दोस्तों को और दुश्मनों को निपटा जाए. संक्षेप में अपने आप को कैसे प्रबंधित करें और सफल रहें. आइए मेरे साथ अभी हम सत्र 3 में जाते हैं. Let's give you a quick overview of what we want to talk about this subject. Often people are not clear in what is prosperity, what is happiness. Is it something just money, getting a lot of wealth, crore rupiya, property, or is it something more? No, Vidura It defines and explains what it is. Of course, there are many slokas covering these, dozens of them. But I'm not giving all that. I'm just giving you only some selected slokas, which give you the saramsha or essence. So in this particular session, we're going to talk about what Vidura defines and explains about prosperity and happiness. These two things we are taking: how to become prosperous. Secondly, how to stay prosperous, not only getting it, but we have to maintain it. And what are the common mistakes people make and not able to become prosperous, so that we can avoid them. And what is sinful prosperity? Prosperity gained through illegal or unfair means. What is happiness? How to be always happy? These are some of the topics that we are going to cover today in the next 30-40 minutes. So stay tuned now. We are going to the first slokam on how to become prosperous. Samriddha kaise bane. I'll read out the sloka first and then explain to you meaning. Dhritihi samo damaha saucham karunyam vaganishtura mitranam cha abhitrogaha saptaitaha samidaha shriyaha. Now this talks about the means or the ways to attain prosperity. Vidura has described 7 of them in brief, starting with dhritihi. Dhritihi means courage or confidence. Atma Vishwas, you have to have confidence in yourself that you're going to achieve something, right? Without being confident about yourself, you cannot really get somebody else to help you in becoming prosperous. So here he first says dhritihi, feeling powerful about oneself. Samo damaha. Samo is tranquility, some kind of equipoise, as you call it. Enjoying things in an even way, not overjoy makes you jump up and sorrow makes you jump down. No, even way of carrying on life. Tranquility. Damaha is really self-discipline. Everybody has to have certain discipline within themselves. Like army, they have their own code of conduct. They are disciplined soldiers. A policeman, he has his own discipline. Even a purohit or a priest has his discipline. So discipline is a must if you want to pursue prosperity. Karunyam. Karuna, karunyam. You know the meaning very well. Karunyam is kind of compassion. Saucham. Saucham is cleanliness, purity. Even in trains, you have the toilet is called Sauchalaya, right? We even worship it like Alaya, Sauchalaya, cleaning up. And Saucham is one of the most important qualities. Cleanliness, not only of physical body, but also of mind. Cleanliness in the mind. Don't allow bad things to accumulate in your heart. Mitranam chana bidrogaha. Drogam really means stabbing in the back. Showing as if you're a friend, but then some people stab you in the back. So that is again against prosperity. So you should not really go into that injury of friends, close friends. So Mitranam chana bidroga saptaitaha samidaha sriyaha. So here Vag Nishtura is making hard speech, Some people talk in such a way that it hurts you. They demean you. Such kind of talking is not helping to become prosperous. If you see prosperous people, they are all sweet talking people. So Vidura lists out 7 qualities to become prosperous: self-confidence, tranquility, discipline, purity, compassion, absence of harsh speech, and finally, not injuring friends. Atmavishwas, Manonigraha, अनुशासन, पवित्रता, शौचा, दया, कोमलवाणी और मित्र से द्रोह न करना, ये 7 बातें लक्ष्मी को बढ़ाने वाली है. Prosperity is really Lakshmi. We all worship Lakshmi to become prosperous. So these are 7 recommended paths to become prosperous, which we can observe in daily life, and you see how things really prosper. Going further, how to stay prosperous? Not only you have to get prosperity, but also you should behave in such a way that you stay prosperous. Sri Mangalat Prabhavati Pragalpat Sampravartate Dachyatu Kurute Moolam Samyamat Pratitishthati. Sri. Sri has got 2 meanings. Sri means Lakshmi, like you say Srinivasan, Srikant. So there, Sri is really referring to Lakshmi. Sri Devi and Bhu Devi, right? One is fixed asset, the other one is current assets. Bhu Devi is fixed assets, Sri Devi is current assets, keep on coming. The other meaning for Sri is a snake, Sarpa. Sri Kantan, you say, in Karnataka they have this name Sri Kantan, which means one who wears a snake on his neck. Who is that? Shiva, Lord Shiva. So Sri has got both these meanings. Here in this case, he is referring to Lakshmi. Sri means Lakshmi here. Sri Kantan. Prabhavati. Prabhavati arises. Prosperity arises from what? Mangalat. Mangalat is auspicious for doing good work. Not inauspicious, not killing somebody, but then training somebody or doing some good work for the community. You know, anything that is connected with making a living in an auspicious way, that's called Mangalat. Mangalat Prabhavati. Pragalpata Sampravartate. It grows in consequence of an activity. Dachyatu kurute moolam samyat pratitishtati. Moolam is root. It's Dakshyatu means from skills. From skills or activity, it grows, roots, it drives, kurute moolam. It drives, sampravartate. It means it grows. From the roots, it grows as a consequence of skill and activity. And what happens eventually? Samyamat pratitishthati. Pratitishthati means standing up. And pratitishthati is acquiring stability, like a tree stands up. How it stands up? Because the roots are strong. And therefore, when you want to stay prosperous, you do auspicious work and grow as a consequence of that activity. Drive the roots deep because of your skills and acquire stability due to good management. अच्छे काम से ही स्थायी लक्ष्मी आती है. धन का विशेष सही जगह करना चाहिए. सुखी रखने के लिए बुद्धिमाने से योजनाएं बनानी चाहिए. So auspicious work is something where you don't feel guilt. Whatever profession you are in, you follow those skills and make decent money, honest money. I like to give you some examples of people I know who have followed this and became very prosperous. I worked in companies in India. One company I worked in, Very, very satisfying work, and I was very happy in that company. It was owned by a person who migrated from Punjab during the partition time. And when he came, he had nothing except his wife and 4 children. He came and then he knew somebody who were in the opera house selling automobile spare parts. So he said, I want a job. So he get a job as a salesman in the store. And he used to sell automobile spare parts. So that gave him a salary and he had a small place to live. And with that salary, he was managing. But then, the instinct to become prosperous was so strong that he wanted to develop and expand his business. So he took some agencies and then he started selling more automobile spare parts. And business was good, so he was happy. Then he also was importing tires for cars and trucks. Bata, the company which makes shoes, they're also making tires once upon a time from Germany. And he imported a shipload of it. Unfortunately, the ship sank and he had no insurance, lost money. Do you think he could have just fallen down? No. He got up. He said, I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to still work. And then he took an agency from a British company to make small armatures for starters and dynamos and things like that. And he bought a piece of land with that little money he had, put up a factory, and that factory grew. He educated his sons meantime. They started working with him. Together, they built an industrial empire in a matter of about 30 years. It didn't take that much time. And I found they were very nice. You see, a typical sign. They were very humble. They made money in a proper way. Another example I give you, where in Pune when we lived, my father brought the rubber hose for watering the garden. It was bought from a company called Swastik Rubber Products, which was nearby. The founder and owner of that company was a Mr. Vaidya, who was a very humble man, very poor. He used to sell balloons in Lakshmi Road in Pune. His turning point came when he made an offer to the Indian Army at the time for gloves, rubber gloves. And he got a contract. Then he made some money. Then he started making more things. He bought a piece of land, started making rubber products. And all these he never forgot. Out of that 1 rupee he made when selling balloons, he used to put 25% for puja to Satyanarayana. He never forgot. And made a very decent living and became the owner of an industry. These are typical examples of how I can give you any number of examples. Oberoi hotels. Mr. Oberoi, who founded the hotel empire, was a humble man. He was a simple accounts clerk. Built the hotel empire. One of his admirable gifts was he could remember any face and anybody. A guest who comes and meets him, he will not forget. I've seen him. This gentleman used to be so sharp in intellect and memory that he will recall any guest whom he has seen and inquire about him. So that is Komalavani, and he built an empire. As you all know, Oberoi has got a big chain of hotels. Going further, what are the common mistakes that people make? Is something we all should know, that we should not make mistakes in attaining prosperity. It's something which we should learn and avoid making them. Shad doshaha purusheneha hatavya budhimichata nidra tantri vayam krodha alasyam dirgha sutrata. Very beautiful verse. Shad doshaha, 6 mistakes. Dosha. Dosha, it comes from the root dush, which means fault, mistake, deficiency. You will find this word dosha in Ayurveda also. The root dush meaning to become corrupt or bad. You in Tamil you say dushtan. You hear the word dushtan, you're a bad guy. So Shad doshaha, the 6 faults, which we all commit without realizing that it's a mistake. You find that people tend to oversleep. One of the common mistakes they've also done. Many people do it. So at that time when I used to oversleep, I said I have to work a little more. So I bought a book called How to Live 24 Hours a Day. The author was Arnold Bennett. So I was looking for secrets, and the only secret I could really find was you wake up early, at least 2 hours before a normal time. If you get up at 5 o'clock, then you get 2 more hours for the day. So sleep, getting oversleep, it robs the time we spend, but it also reduces the alertness of the person. So one thing is about sleep, we should not oversleep. Sleep as much as it's necessary for you. Nidra. Tandri. What is Tandri? Tandri is being drowsy, not attentive. There are daydreamers, who sit in the office and close their eyes and dream about something, not paying attention. They're also not cheerful. They will be just routine. I used to find many people, if you ask them, kaise hai? They say, chalta hai. Chalta hai is an ordinary term. Carrying on somehow, pulling on without any trace of enthusiasm in it. He seems to be just dragging on life. You shouldn't have that drowsiness. Should be alert. And like some of the heroes in the movies you see, they are so energetic. At least see them and learn some lessons. Don't be drowsy, be alert. Third thing is Bhayam. Bhayam is, of course, known. It's fear. Those of you who have seen that movie called Sholay, in which Gabbar Singh, he says, Jo dar gaya, wo mar gaya. One who dies is fear. Even in this pandemic, Corona, more people get frightened as if they have already got it. At least be confident that if there is something, you will know it. It's a fear itself kills more people. I can give you any number of examples, but now we don't have much of time. But fear is to be avoided. You must be having reasonable fear. You cannot be rash. You have to be reasonable. Krodha, gussa, anger is another thing which is very, very, very serious. Behind I have the picture of Paramacharya where he says, be wary of the sinner called anger. This anger destroys everything. It clouds the judgment. It takes him to a wrong path, wrong conclusions, wrecks the chance of achieving goals. It doesn't mean you should not become angry at all. Be angry about something, but then you have to make sure you control it. That's very important. Anger management is a subject by itself. In fact, I wrote a book on anger management. Lessons from the ancient. It is sold through Smashwords, available in Amazon also. Alasyam. Alasyam is idleness, lazy. One does not get any motivation, doesn't work at all. And lastly, Dirgha Sutrata. What is Dirgha Sutrata? Dirgha Sutrata, in English, if you talk, it is procrastination. Procrastination means what? You want to do something, there is a reasonable time. You have to do within the time, not postpone it tomorrow. What? There is a famous law called Parkinson's law, which says work expands itself to fill up the time available. You tell a man you should do this work in 1 day, he will do it in 1 day. But tell him that I'll give you 6 days. For 5 days, he will not do anything. And the last day, he will do it. You must have all seen this experience by yourself, that whatever time you give, you will do at the end. So, Dirgha Sutra is postponing things until some time, then you don't really complete it in time and you get into more problems. So these are the 6 mistakes that people, साधारण गलतियां, ऐश्वर्य चाहने के वाले को नींद, तंद्रा, डर, क्रोध या गुस्सा, आलस्य तथा दीर्घ सूत्रता, जल्दी हो जाने वाले कामों के अधिक समय लगाने की आदत होता है. इन 6 दुर्गुणों को त्याग देना चाहिए. That is the essence of this particular slokam, where common mistakes are highlighted. And we go to the next slokam, which tells you about what is sinful property, sinful prosperity. Papon dwara sampannata, ekah papari kurute, phalam bhunkte mahajanaha, bhoktaro vipramuchyante, kartha doshena lipyate. Very beautiful verse, put in just 2 lines. And we have so many examples to prove this, even today. One person, he commits a sin to become prosperous. Maybe he gets caught. He's put in jail. He's punished. Meantime, others all enjoy the benefits. वो जो किया है उसके फल दूसरे लोग खाता है. मनुष्य अकेला पाप करता है और बहुत सारे लोग मौज उड़ाते हैं, मजा करते हैं. Isn't it true? You see it. I can give you many examples. There are industrialists who get caught, scams, chit funds or cheat funds, liquor barons, software company owners. In fact, one company ironically had the name of Truth in it. The chairman and managing director was put in prison. But whatever he did, the other people enjoyed. They were not caught, not all of them. At least maybe 1 or 2. But most people enjoyed the benefits from it. It is also the karma principle in Sanatana Dharma. Valmiki was a hunter in his previous life. A hunter. So he used to not only hunt, but he used to rob people coming in the forest. After all, he had a family, so he had to make some money. So Narada came and then he said, come on, out with you, or I'm going to kill you. He said, what you are doing is a sin. Paap hai. Ye kyun karta hai aap? So he said, I got a family, I've got my wife. I have to naturally make a living. Okay. You are giving them all the benefit. Tell them. You go and tell them that I'm doing sin by killing people and robbing them. So will they take equal share of that? Go and ask them. So he went and asked his family members, his wife, मैं पाप करता हूँ, आप उससे भाग लेते हैं? Will you take a share of it? They said, no, we won't take any share. It's your job to feed us and earn money. Whatever sin, it's yours. That moment he changed his mind. So he asked Narada what to do. He said, sit down under a tree and say Ram, 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 Ram. And then he really became a saint and who wrote the Ramayana. So there are so many. It's a doer who alone who is experiencing the results of the karma. Even today we believe that whatever papa or punya that our parents did descend on us. And whatever papa or punya we do descend on our children. So it goes. So if you do something good, your family also enjoys it. But if you do a sin, it's only you suffer, not they. So it's a doer who experiences the results of the karma, while those who enjoy the fruit escape free. Bhoktaro vipramchante kartha doshena lipyate. मनुष्य अकेला पाप करता है और बहुत सारे लोग मौज उड़ाते हैं. मौज उड़ाने वाले तो छूट जाते हैं, लेकिन उसका कर्ता ही दोषी होता है. This is a very important lesson that I think that we should know, that earning money through sinful means or means cheating others is not really leading to real prosperity. And prosperity, as it's been designed, it is not just only wealth alone, it has got so many other factors in it. That is why this is defined in a bigger way by Vidura. Going further, I'm going to tell you now, what is happiness? Vidura really defines it very nicely. Arogyam aranyam avipravasaha sadvid manushyaha sagasam prayogaha swapratyaya vrittir abhitavasaha shat jiva lokasya sukhani rajan. He's addressing Dhritarashtra as Rajan here, the king. The first thing he puts is health. Arogyam. We still continue that. When we get blessings from elder, what do they say? Dirga Ishman Baba, may you have a long life. Ayul Arogyam Aishwaryam Anandam Praptirastu. The 4 A's. Ayur, Arogyam, Aishwaryam, Anandam. They all eventually lead to Anandam, right? Happiness. So you should have good health, long life, and money, Aishwaryam, and ultimately happiness. So here it is Arogyam, health. Andrinyam means without having any debt. You know, in Tamil there is a saying says, Kadan Battar Nanjam Bol. I have borrowed money and I know how I felt. Many of you who have borrowed money would have that feeling that we have to repay back, and that's a burden. You don't feel free. So one who is free from these debts, he is happy man. You see industrialists who have borrowed heavy money from banks and institutions. They are always unhappy because they have the obligation to meet the loans. Today, in this pandemic situation, many industries are facing the problem. They have borrowed, they are unable to pay back. So government is giving them some relaxations, but still they find it very difficult to meet the debts. Abhi Pravasaha, Pravasi, one who is living abroad. Here it means one who lives in his own home. Sadbir Manushay Saha. Sad means good. Sajjan. I went to a place called Sajjangad near Satara, the resting place of Samartha Ramadas. Sajjangad. It became Sajjangad. So companionship with good people, being with them. Swapratyaya. You have to have your own job, your own business, your own employment, self-sufficient employment. Vrittir Bhitavasaha, living without fear. Man who is straightforward, he is able to stand up. Gadbad kiya to dar hota hai. So living without fear. These are the 6 Shat Jiva Lokasya Sukhani. These 6 they comprise human happiness. क्या चीज है? स्वस्थ रहना. बिना कर्ज के रहना, परदेश में न रहना, सज्जनों के साथ मेलजोल, स्वयं के द्वारा जीवन चलाना तथा भययुक्त जीवन उपायन, ये 6 बातें सांसारिक सुख प्रदान करते हैं. Going further, how to be always happy? All right, we have talked about factors to become happy, but we have to also maintain it, right? Continue. You become a crorepati, it doesn't mean that suddenly you go into other ways, sinful activities. If you want to stay happy, that is also a solution given by Vidura here. Anartakam viprabhasam grihebhyaha papaihi santim paradara abhimasham dambam stainyam paishunam madhyapanam na sevate yasa sukhi sadaiva. Anartakam, without meaning. Without meaning what? Living somewhere else away from home. Of course, people go abroad for making money. It's fair, but then if they're without family, just imagine what happens. In Kerala, a lot of people went to Middle East to make money alone. Families were behind. And there was a big social problem because the money they were sending home was getting into wrong hands and wrong ways of spending. It became a big social problem. People became distressed, frustrated, even though there was money coming. So no harm if you go with your family and stay away for making money because you have no proper avenues for employment. You get a job in somewhere else. You can do. But meaninglessly going away, here the meaningless anarthakam is important. If you go just like that, we stay away for some meaningless reason. That is not good. Papaiki sandim. Papa is for sin. Sandim is joining hands with nefarious elements, bad guys. Paradara abhimarsham, committing adultery. You all know the meaning. Dambam. Tamil also is a dambam, dambigam. Show off. Show arrogant behavior. I know everything, sort of. Sainyam paishunam. Sainyam is stealing. There are people, not only regular thieves, but there are people stealing from corporations, stealing from public. I said about chit funds begin cheat funds. A lot of funds cheat people. It's a kind of theft, stealing, and being ungrateful. Madhupanam. Madhupanam, drinking liquor, intoxicated. You may be feeling happy internally, but then, what happens during a period you're intoxicated, you don't know. Somebody may take advantage of you. Your family suffers as a result. And people know what is your weakness, so they make you drink and make you do all kinds of bad activities. So that is to be avoided. So, na sevate ya sukhi sadaiva. Those who do not indulge in these things, these 6 activities, they are always happy. You can see people happy without any of these. जो व्यक्ति अकारण घर के बाहर नहीं रहता है, बुरे लोगों के सोबत से बचता है, परस्त्री से संबंध नहीं रखता है, चोरी चुगली, पाखंड और नशा नहीं करता, वह सदा सुखी रहता है. So that is the essence of this slokam. So today we covered how to become prosperous, how to stay prosperous, what are the common mistakes people make, not getting, and how it is sinful prosperity, what impact it has got, how to be happy, and how to be always happy. What are the factors? So from this you can infer that happiness and prosperity is not just money or wealth. There are so many factors building in, and you have to feel all this by yourself in your heart. Vidura only gives advice. It's up to us to follow or not. Now, it is strange that after really reading all these and listening to all these, Dhritarashtra doesn't listen. I will tell you that later. But if you apply this in life, there are much better chances for you to become prosperous and be happy. So with this, we conclude this session 3. Stay tuned for session 4. And I want to thank you all for watching this session 3. Do subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming sessions. Namaste. Enjoy the day.